Oh, and a spin there. Round goes Richard Wells. Car number 1 loses it at Abbey into the gravel, just on the edge of the gravel trap there. Let's
Handbrake on the way in. Look at that. Rock. Oh my god. Hey guys, Jimmy here, and welcome back to another video. And we're in a camper van. Look at this. Luxury. So much space for activities. The reason why you're getting this little bit of video from on the road is because right now we are on the way to Silverstone. I'm with Luke right there. Hello. If you don't know Luke, you might have seen him in a couple of my videos last season. He's basically been managing my racing efforts for the last year, and this whole thing was his idea. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Time will tell.
We just haven't got there.
No biscuit for you. Yeah, we are fully stocked up with snacks and stuff. I mean, I don't eat Greggs, I'm not allowed to, diet or something. We are on the way to Silverstone for the first test of the season. First time we're going to get to see the new car. It's still a Praga R1, and it's still the same make and model of car, but it's not our car, it's not Gordy. Gordy has been sold to another team, and is now, I think, rocking a Scarlet livery. I think she's called Scarlet now, which is heresy. We're going to go and puncture their tyres. So first stop is at a place called LDC Designs, which have been the guys who have designed and painted my new lid, which is cool because I was really only expecting to have one, and that'll be it. That's now sitting on a shelf looking nice and pretty. We've sort of been retired. There's a reason we have gone for a new lid. I wasn't against using that one for another season, but we'll get into that in a second. But we're going to go get that now and get our first proper look at it. I'm pretty excited, as you can probably tell.
No, I might be at home.
So you might notice, by the way, that we've actually changed helmet brand. We've gone from Arai to Bell, because Bell are actually supporting us this year, which is really damn cool. That proper big motorsport brand, for some reason, helping out an idiot. Can't really understand why yet, but that's the reason for the new lid. And this is going to be my first time actually having a proper look at it, so I'm pretty damn excited. So let's get in. First of all, I get a actual professional looking little bag here. I had a sort of a sleeve before. Oh man, look at that. Doesn't that look fucking awesome? Basically, main things that of course have changed is different helmet, but also we have big sponsor on here, Fanatec. You guys will know about that already, but as of shooting this, that's not yet gone out, so really cool to actually have that on the helmet and make it like this big official thing. Also having this visor strip on there as well makes this thing look so much more serious, and this is a ton lighter than the helmet that we used last year as well, with a little fin on the back as well. Like, it's awesome. Should I put it on? Does it fit my melon dome? Let's find out. Like a glove, or helmet, I guess. So ladies and gents, it is too early. It's far too early for me to function, but hello, welcome to round 1, Praga Cup, Silverstone. Look how fresh I am, and awake, and all those things that you love. So round 1, and things are a bit different this year. First of all, we're in a camper van, which is glamorous. Welcome to the world. Hi guys, voiceover Jimmy here. You're going to be hearing a lot of me throughout this video because of wind noise. Really sorry about that. I had no idea how bad it was whilst recording, but of course, now I know, it sucked. The TLDR of what I'm saying here is that different to last year, Praga are now running in their own cup separate from Brickcar, which means no more sketchy Porsches or Ferraris to try and avoid, just my own incompetence. Also, here's Jay Morton, the man that could rip me in half if I displeased him.
This is the beauty of this. This is she. The beauty of she.
So yeah, here's Goldie. Reborn, a bit different from last year, of course, still the same sort of highlight colour, still gold, but of course you might have noticed a few things on this car which weren't there last year. First of all, the big thing for us, of course, is the sponsorship from Fanatec. It's great to have Fanatec on board and have them sort of be part of our race campaign. It makes perfect sense really when you consider that I spend most of my time locked away in my bedroom playing racing video games, to have them sponsor us here in the Praga Cup. And that's the first of many new things, and we're going to go and try and find one of the other new things now. Let's go. Next thing, suits, and we have all our kit this year provided by Sparco, which again, thank you so much, Sparco. It's been taking a big weight off my mind getting that all sorted out, but they look sweet. I haven't got my suit here, but Gordy's is exactly the same. Just check this out, it looks so mean. got like a sort of stormtrooper vibe to it, you know, and I'm into that. I'm into that stormtrooper vibe. But, we've just had our helmet and hand scrutineering done. So what that means is when you have a new lid, you have to come and get a sticker, which is like this, basically saying that the helmet is actually a helmet and not something that I made out of cardboard. But anyway, qualifying is about to, nearly about to start. I'll go to the assembly area, get noise tested, make sure the car isn't too loud, and then, yeah, out for quali. And I think the track is still sort of in a weird state of being wettish, so yeah, it's going to be fun first couple of laps.
Now qualifying's a bit different to last year because the time used to set your grid position is an average of the best time of each driver. So no more just putting God Emperor Gordy into the car for a quick lap. I had to be decent too, which in the dry I think I can be, but in the wet I've still got a lot to learn.
So qualifying didn't quite go to plan. It was difficult. I knew it was going to be tricky anyway because the track was drying from the rain overnight, and went out on the inters, or the wet tyres, and it was fine. Started to overheat them. I was trying a bit too hard, so decided to come in quite early, give it to Gordy, because you only have to do a couple of laps, let him go out there and do a lap. But pace isn't quite there on the wet setup, so we thought, okay, last minute we'll change the slicks, try and get a lap in. And unfortunately the guys couldn't get the tyres changed quick enough for us to get back out to get a lap in, which is a bit of a shitter, because it just means that lost the last few minutes of the session anyway. I don't know where we are, we're somewhere near the bottom, which isn't great, but yeah, I mean, at least it means pressure's off for the first race, I suppose, but not really the start we wanted. Right, tighty, plan for the first race then is that the Pro starts the car. So Gordy will be in the car first, and hopefully making up some of the places that we lost at the start. He'll be in the car for as long as possible, so like 39.59 minutes if we can. Then it's up to me to try and bring the car home. So I mean, it's now dry out there completely. It'll be slick, so I'm confident I can do okay in the dry. The gap's a lot smaller between me and the sort of the pro drivers, so yeah, it's Gordy told me it's going to be one to watch. I'm not sure whether to be excited or nervous for that.
So here we are then, first round of the Praga Cup. Feels like months in the making, because I guess it was. A little fist bump for Gordy there to let him know that I'm his bro. He really doesn't need that. And look at the crowd outside. We had a fair few people come off to see Gordy. Unfortunately, Gordy made the mistake of stalling the car in front of the crowd. So sorry, Gordy. Had to do it to you, mate.
Green flag is waved by the marshals then, and the pace car leads them off. History in the making. First ever Praga Cup UK standalones. That's beginning to rise. Who will be the first ever winner then of a Praga Cup UK standalone race? We'll find out over the next 60 minutes. And the pack is unleashed. Here we go. Praga Cup race 1, and already a bit of jockeying for position in the midfield from the back of the field there. Jay Morton trying to make a move up the inside. Line astern as they head towards Abbey Corner for the first
So
time.
race start then, I watched nervously from the pit lane as Gordy did his thing. Now we all know Gordy's a bit of a weapon, but he had a task to do here, starting in P9, trying to make up as much time as possible. And as always, he did just that, slowly catching and passing people before he got up into the top 5. We had this awesome scene of 5 cars together on track. It looked so awesome.
Right on his tail, so it's all change in the lead battle here. Could be a change here for third place as well. Rob Weldon's dropping back. He's trying to hold back Gordy much into stone, much straight round the outside though. You see how stable these cars are in the corners, all the downforce they've got, and Gordy much just breezed through there into third place.
And all that hard work would pay off for Gordy, because at the end of his stint, he was only 1 second behind the race leader. An awesome effort from my boy Gords. And with that, I got in the car and I knew exactly where we were, right up behind P1, within a chance of winning this thing, our first race of the season, continuing last year's run of success. Then I noticed as we came out the pit lane that we actually passed the leader, and that's something you guys need to keep in your head for later on.
27 car has in fact got ahead of the 29 now. That is significant, because it looks to me as though Broadbent will be ahead of Dan Gore for the restart.
So yes, I came out in the lead with Richard Wells and Alex Capadia, last year's champions, hot on my heels, and I felt comfortable straight away, straight into the rhythm, and I started to pull a gap on Wells behind me. Things were looking good for a potential win.
So Richard Wells, number 1, 4.1 seconds. So car 87 is now your race leader. Broadbent leads from Richard Wells, so Jimmy Broadbent now needs to build on the work done by Gordy Much in that opening stint. There's 22 minutes of this race Still to go for the Praga Cup UK. Wells, with all due respect to him, is not as quick as Alex Capadia. Oh, we've got problems there. That's the number 11 car. There's yellow flags out around the circuits. I'm wondering if we're about to go safety car. And we've just had notification on the timing screen. Car 87, that's the race leader, has got a stop-go penalty. I can only assume for exceeding track limits.
And just like that, it all came undone. The number 11 car had a brake explode, causing him to lose a wheel, which brought out a safety car. And then to add insult to injury, we were given a stop-go penalty for being too quick in our pit stop. Minimum pit time is 2 minutes. Our time was 1:59.6. That one hurt.
So Jimmy Broadbent, as a result of that stop-go penalty, has lost 5 places, down into 6th.
The race did go back to green, but not for long, as Richard Wells, trying a little bit too hard on cold tyres, spun it into Abbey, meaning that we'd stay under safety car for the rest of the race. Which means that we came home 3rd on the podium in the Praga Cup, with the 86 being an invitational car and not part of the championship.
Place goes to the Raw Motorsport car, Rob Weldon and Ben Stone. And 3rd to number 28, Tim Gray Motorsports, Jack Tomlin and Stefano Lini.
So a bit of time to decompress after race 1. Yeah, I mean, P3 is still pretty good. P3 in class, of course, with 4th overall, but we don't really care about overall, it's just in class for us. So on the podium, but no trophy, not this time. Yeah, takeaway, car was fast, I felt really good. A little bit understeery in some places. But we're going to try and dial that out tomorrow. It's just really nice to be back on circuit and be racing again. I sort of feel like I'm making progress as a driver, because I think my best lap was nearly 3 seconds quicker than my best lap last year, which is mad. I'm really happy with that, and I'm going to try and build on that tomorrow. Now, they did say initially that tomorrow was going to be wet, but the forecast seems to have sort of come back to us, and now it's saying that our race is going to be in the dry, which would be ideal, because driving in the dry is a lot easier than driving in the wet. I mean, I think we have some decent pace in the dry anyway, so fingers crossed, please. So I've got a little bit of time and it's quiet. It's currently, I think, like 9:30 on the Saturday night. We're going to very quickly sort of go over the car a bit and what's new and what's different, because obviously it's the same car, it's a Praga R1, but it's not the same chassis. Gordy was 105, this is 117, I think, of the Pragas, to that knowledge. And I thought it'd be cool to go over it and tell you what we're doing differently this year to really give ourselves, or try to give ourselves, a bit of a competitive advantage as much as we can do. Anyway, hit the ground running, so to speak. So first of all, car itself, Gordy 2.0, different paint scheme. Well, I say paint scheme, it's a wrap, of course. And to be fair, there's not really much of a wrap on it, because all this sort of black stuff, this is all just bare carbon fibre, which is tasty to look at, very pretty. And the only really stuff that's gone there has been sponsor logos, so Fanatec, Sim Racing GP, of course, my boys. Also down there, RN, which we'll get to in a minute, because that's really cool. And Sparko, which is really cool to have Sparko on board, as I said earlier, doing all our race wear, which has been pretty sweet so far. But the car itself actually is pretty much unchanged, with one very small detail which I need to get into the cockpit to show you. So first things first, the biggest difference for us this year is this down here. This is our basically our turbo map switch. Last year we ran it on this. This year we run it on this. So basically what that means is that this year, instead of running on the second map 2, we're running on map 3, and that's a good chunk extra horsepower, which is always a fun thing. You always like to hear that. I mean, to be fair, driving one of these things anyway, when you get on the full throttle in the lower gears, it's like getting kicked in the back of the head. So now it's like getting kicked in the back of the head twice. I can't think of a better analogy. And the other big thing is that for those who are, you might have noticed already with your special eyes, that we have what is effectively a TV screen next to our TV screen on the wheel, and that is Race Navigator. They are the RN sticker on our car, and Race Navigator, hopefully for us, is going to be a bit of a game changer, and let me show you why. So Race Navigator basically does a similar job to AIM, but quite a bit better, and has a lot more adaptability for us as well, for us to change and sort of customise to our individual needs. It's me! I'm in a video! So one of the big problems we've had over the course of being in the Praga is that recording stuff has been super difficult, because the car, it's an aggressive car. It vibrates, you know. It's a nice place to be if you're into that kind of thing, but when you're trying to record shit, it's not so good. So Race Navigator is, well, it gives us two options. It gives us a camera which is just behind my you can see that there, it's just behind my my head. Also a camera on the dash as well, just on top of the Navigator itself, which looks back at my pretty face, so you can see the terror in my eyes as I go into T1 for the first time every lap. That's like a small feature though, and not the main reason why we've got it. The main reason we've got it is because of just telemetry and data and all those things. I mean, this has a GPS sensor on it, so we can in real time see where I am on circuit. We can also measure things like braking distances and have like a trace around a circuit map to sort of show where I'm on and off the brake, compared to Gordy, of course, who is my driver coach. And when we are doing coaching behind the scenes, we can sort of look at videos simultaneously, instead of the difficulty we had with AIM, where you had to sort of click off one video, go on to another one. It's, yeah, a bit frustrating, but this should be a bit of a game changer, and I'm looking forward to learning it, because it's there's a lot of shit there. End of the day, I'm pretty fucking knackered. It's been a few days of just like, I don't know, concentrating. Can't really do it, as you can tell. But I'm gonna try and get some good sleep, have some good munch, and then get ready for tomorrow. Weather keeps looking better and better. I'm almost holding out hope for a dry race now. I think in the dry race, I think that we've got like proper good pace as a pairing. Yeah, I mean, like third was a nice result, but I just know I can't help but not feel like frustrated that it could have been better. But I feel that I'll get over that soon enough. But if I said to myself last year that I'd be annoyed with a third place, then maybe last year me would give me a fucking slap. I'd probably be right to do it. But yeah, gonna go relax and then race 2 tomorrow. Yeah.
Hello, it's voiceover Jimmy again. I know you missed me. So yeah, Sunday at Silverstone, race 2 coming up, and pretty much a repeat of the day before. It rained overnight, so the track was wet, which means that we're going to see probably yet another wet to dry qualifying session. So we're well versed in that. We know what we're going to do. We had a decent approach plan, and our goal was to just do better than yesterday. So as previously mentioned, we were having camera issues yet again. It was difficult for us with the onboard cameras, but we did get this footage looking back at Gordy, showing you how much work he had to put in on his flying lap in the wet, dry conditions. Absolutely insane. Gordy's best efforts though, we had an unbalanced wheel on the car, which I found really difficult to drive and deal with, and essentially we ended up having a repeat of the day before. So again, we'll be starting down near the back of the field, but this time I'd be taking the race start. I was eager to get out there and try and make up some places because I knew I had some pace compared to the other amateurs. But whilst I was sitting in the assembly area and the start of the race got closer, I started to notice spots of rain on the windscreen, which is fairly nerve-wracking when you're sitting there on a set of slick tyres. So start the race, and my goal is to try and make up as many places as possible. We've already got one car. I went wide at T1 through Cops, and next in front of us is the 84 of the Bridle brothers. Good guys, the Bridles, lots of fun to drive with. A little bit slow here through Maggots and Beckett's, coming out of the last part now, Chapel. We see just getting squeezed onto the inside curb there, but the car in front, the Bridle car, seems a bit slow coming out the corner, so I duck into the slipstream, then put out to the left-hand side to get the overspeed and take the place going into Stowe.
Away behind there, and look at the way that Sir Charles Hall is coming through in the 77. He started from the back row of the grid. He's gone second as they go into Stowe Corner. Goodness gracious, he's cut straight through the field.
So a couple of places gained on the start there. Now I'm up behind the university cars. We come down to the Vale, and again I'm noticing on the brakes it's a little bit quicker into there. The actual entry speed into the corner speed is a bit quicker, but a little bit slow on exit there, as I get a little bit too attached to the rear end of the car in front. Now we come through Max and Beckett, so look on the windscreen here. Rain starts to fall, and I think, oh Christ, here we go. I'm trying to remember Gordy's advice, which is just to try and keep the car alive, try and keep the slicks warm, and just kind of push. Trust that they will grip as long as you're going quickly through the corners.
Alex Connor goes for the outside on Richard Wells, number 1, now cuts back to the inside. He sold in the dummy.
Now coming up through Abbey, you see the rain now coming down even harder than it did before, and I'm very close to the Wolverhampton car in front, a little bit wide there through the right hand. I think getting a little bit spooked by the rain, as I think we all were at the moment. Then we come into the 2 hairpins. I sense a move up into the inside here, lunge of the left hand, he doesn't see me, turns in, and I spin. Looking back at it now, maybe I was a little bit late trying to put the car there, but it felt very much like I was alongside, but live and learn. Luckily for me, the car wasn't damaged at all, but that'll be the least of my worries. As you can see now, the rain really starting to come down, and with the lost time from before and spinning, the tyres have lost all their temperature. So now it's pretty much in no man's land on slicks, trying to get the power down. You can see through this left-hander onto the Wellington straight, no revs, and down we go. This was super frustrating in the car given the strong start. I remember just swearing at myself, calling myself all number of names, telling myself how stupid I was, but I knew that wasn't the way to go. I had to just try and get on with it. I decided though that there was too much water in the circuit for me to deal with. Let's come into the pit lane, get some intermediate tyres and play things safe. Deja vu. And as I drove back onto the circuit, a all too familiar feeling of dread just washed over me as I knew it had happened again. For the first lap that I was out, the wets were definitely faster than the slick tyres, but the rain had stopped completely, almost instantly the moment I exited the pit lane.
Beckett goes through, up into 7th place, takes the line to defend into Stowe Corner.
So whilst I initially passed Wells easily, he overtook me back at the end of a lap, and it just got worse from there. The long and short of it is that my inability to drive in those conditions had basically cost us any chance at a decent result in this race, and at the time I was pretty distraught, to be honest.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Off they go. There they go. Look too happy. I'm just going to have a quick word. Jimmy, very quickly, obviously you came in to change through the wet tyres. It doesn't look like it was the right thing to do.
No, second time in a row I've done that now. I'm making a habit of it. No, it's just that my inexperience in those sort of conditions, I wasn't able to keep the slicks alive. So it was either that or spin. I did spin. So
it's a gamble though, isn't it? And you've got to take these gambles sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be realistic. You know, I'm not a pro racing driver, I'm an amateur, so it's either make the choice, keep the car clean and out the wall, which is what I wanted to do, and then give Gordy a car, but obviously it doesn't, we've lost a lot of time.
Given that we were now out of contention, we basically just told Gordy to go out there and push as hard as he could, which, as you can imagine, he was all too happy to oblige.
A very disappointed Jimmy Broadbent. Hopefully Gordy much, you can see him weaving there to warm up the fresh tyres, get as much heat into them as he can, and he's going to charge Gordy much after the opposition now.
If you guys ever wonder what a Praga R1 being ranked within an inch of its life looks like, here it is on board with Gordy through Copse T1, nearly 200k minimum speed through there as we now rocket down towards Maggots and Beckett. Sixth gear right at the last second there, a mere suggestion will lift into Maggots, now into Beckett's there, down 2 gears into 4th. Gordy will carry 4th here through the right hander as well, using the curb on the inside there, on the throttle nice and early, getting that turbo spooled, and now down the hanger straight, using all of the curb on the outside there to open the corner up as much as possible, carry as much speed as possible, and he does just that. 240, 245, nearly 250 k's before braking at the curb into Stolen, using again the curb and using lots of grip there as we accelerate now down to the Vale. Now how good is Gordy's left foot? Pretty damn good. Smashes the brake here, just introduces the car nicely into the left-hander, lets the car settle for a moment, then getting on the throttle on the exit here, up to 3rd, up to 4th through Clubber right-hander, and now we come on to the Hamilton straight, up towards now Abbey, an awesome corner in this car. Watch Gordy through here, just a little bit of a lift, car wobbling there as he forces it through the corner. And now we come up to the sequence of hairpins here. Really important to carry speed for this first one. Follow the camber on the inside. Do the same for the left-hander too there. Just rolling the car through on the throttle nice and early. Aim for this curb on the outside. This kink onto the Wellington straight is easy flat unless you're me in the rain. And now we go that down the straight again. Gordy using all the circuit that has been allotted to him. He paid for the circuit, he's going to use the circuit. Now down the Brooklands, down a couple of gears here again, roll the car through, use the downforce on the way in. Don't go too far left here before turning on the right, just nip that curb on the right hand, has lots of grip on, and then look for the second apex into Lufford, a little bit wide an exit there, but that there was a lap of Silverstone in 1:56. An insane time by Gordy, and just evidence that he was on it. Gordy was absolutely flying, but then the arrival of the Lords of the Shadow Realm made me wonder if he was pushing maybe a little bit too hard.
Take another couple of, and that's the 87 car in. That's the Broadbent and Much car. It looks like that's down on the...
Unfortunately, Gordy's off and bent one of the rear right tie rods, which means that our race was over. However, Gordy stayed in the car because using one of the regulations, we would still get points if he was still sat in the car as the checkered flag dropped. So despite the fact that we were pretty much out of the race, we still took points for coming home in P9.
So yeah, race weekend done, and P3 in the first race, really nice result, that a good way to start our season, but then P9 in race 2. Really not ideal, really not good for the championship, but most importantly we did get points in both races and avoided a potential DNF. So really I think, you know, it could have been a lot worse. I ended up leaving the circuit though feeling quite dejected because I kind of sucked in the wet dry stuff, and after a really strong result at Donington end of last year and being, in my mind anyway, fairly quick for myself in the dry at Silverstone. To see it all unravel so quickly because of the splash of rain that I couldn't quite deal with, it's frustrating. It annoys me that I can't deal with that better, but that's part of improving. That's part of getting better. Next race is at Alton Park, a circuit that I really enjoy driving but haven't really had that much luck at in the past. So I'm hoping to change that soon and put a good result on the board and try and raise up above P5 in the standings where we currently sit. As always, I've got to say a massive thank you to you guys. You're the reasons I get to go racing, and I know that it's become almost a normal thing now to get ready to go to a race weekend, but this is still every day always a dream for me, being fulfilled by the fact that I made some videos on the internet. So thank you all so much for watching them, for liking them, for sharing them, and just being a part of this community. You are the reason why I get to do this, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I've also got to say a massive thank you to Gordy as well for helping me steadily get faster. We're getting there slowly. And to all the sponsors that help me go racing. There's no way I'd be able to do any of this without any of you guys. But take care guys, have an awesome day. See you at Alton Park.